Colin, thanks for joining us. The reason for this wee back and forth today is just to sort of try and give the fans some clarity on what's happening behind the scenes at the club. First and foremost, we'll start with you and Sutherland. Have we got an update on his injury?
Aye, so Subby obviously's had a bit of a sore one. We sent him for a scan. The scans came back. We've got the information. The swelling on his knee is still quite bad. Initial kind of conclusion is that he's dislocated his knee. We don't think it's ligaments, but that does need reassessed. So I think him and Tony are going to be going to see somebody through the gaffer, and they're going to try and get more of an in-depth kind of look into it. Gut feeling at this point in time is he'll definitely be missing for about another 6, maybe 8 weeks, maybe even up to 12 weeks. So that's a big blow, because obviously it was a major signing for us and a major part of what we were wanting to do, a major target that we secured, and he's only played 60 minutes of competitive football. So yeah, it's a big blow for not just the manager but the club, but also feel bad for Survey as well, because he's really, he was really looking forward to kicking on here.
Next we'll move on to the big question, really, is the cooperation agreement.
Mm-hmm.
So just could you clarify how these work? So we signed one with Motherwell last year. Is that a 1-year deal? Is it a rolling contract? Is it just run until Motherwell say it stops? Or?
No, the actual project is always a 1-year thing for Scottish football. They obviously seen the benefits of it, and it's been renewed. So you'll see a lot of clubs have done cooperation agreements. Some have changed to new clubs. The reason that we haven't, can't go into too much detail, because there's certain other things at play here. I, however, am in consultation with Motherwell already. I actually spoke to them this morning. Been to a couple of games. We got on really well, and they've also not been in a position to set up a cooperation agreement, because they've got a new manager. He wants to get eyes on his youth side of things. He wants to get eyes on the young boys. And we can actually see quite a few of their young boys making their first team. So that needs to settle down before they're in a position to even, 1, loan players, but 2, set up a cooperation. Whether we do a cooperation with them is yet to be seen, but we're still in communication, and I would like to hope and think that if we're both in agreement, that will happen. The other thing about the cooperation is it's got to be a kind of two-way street. It's got to be beneficial for them to send boys to us that we feel are ready for this environment and this level of football, and then vice versa. I don't want to bring boys to the club that I don't feel are ready. So there's a wee bit of kind of backwards and forwards on that, but we have spoken to a couple other clubs as well, as we're entitled to do, but it seemed to me that a couple of the clubs we spoke to were already quite far down the line with other clubs, to be fair. So,
is there a rule where they can only give to one club, or per level? Or?
The rule is, obviously, if there's any lowland league team got a cooperation, we can't be a cooperation with that other team. So, for example, Bonnyrigg have got Hearts, like last season Gala had Hibs. Not sure too many of the clubs in our league who's got who yet, but Bo'ness had Dunfermline last year, so we wouldn't be able to have Dunfermline last year, for example. But yeah, there's also some Premier League clubs and some First Division clubs that aren't looking to do cooperation agreements. I know that as well, that we've touched base on with them. But yeah, we'll just have to kind of see what develops on that front.
When I last spoke to the manager, he spoke about trying to strengthen the squad, obviously with Ewan's injury.
Yeah.
Any couple of targets that maybe fell through? Is there any update on progression there with other targets?
Yeah, I mean, listen, before the season started, we always felt that we needed 1 or 2 in the building based on the performances and the results and things. Do we need to maybe ramp that up to more, potentially? Again, there's things going on at the higher level, which is difficult to talk about just now, which might facilitate that easier. We have been in the market for more firepower, especially since Surrey got injured, but we're always looking to add one more anyway. the loan market has always been beneficial for us in the past. Now, this is not cooperations, this is actual loans. We've done really well in the loan market in the past. We're looking for that to continue. But the players that we've targeted and been speaking about, the clubs just aren't willing to let them out yet because they're doing quite well. So, look, that shows that we're targeting the right players, but sometimes you need to be patient, and sometimes those boys that we're hoping for, we won't get because they're doing so well. That's just the nature of the beast. We are in discussions with a couple of clubs just now for players, 2 loans in particular. I'm hoping to hear back tonight on one, but we're not the only club trying to sign the players. So yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, and it's not easy. We have tried to recruit in terms of getting permanent transfers in here. We've had a couple of bids accepted, but unfortunately the players didn't want to, come to the club for various reasons, whether that's financial or travel or whatever it may be. But look, we're going to keep trying to improve the squad, and yeah, we'll be looking to do that in the short term, but also we are looking to the future as well.
Had a difficult start to the season, results wise. Some of the performances didn't warrant the points total we've got. How, after these four or 5 games, how are you reviewing the continuity of the squad with a number of guys that came back last year? And what was the thought process behind that?
Well, for years and years we've had to revamp squads every year, usually 10 plus players, sometimes more. Obviously last year we had to bring in a brand new squad. So we felt that the best opportunity, given the budget was going to be basically the same, was to kind of give the players here the opportunity to try and kick on after a year's experience, playing together, working with the manager, training, knows the habits, knows the club, knows the way we work, all these kind of things. We felt that would play into to ultimately being that bit more successful, and then adding 1, 2, 3, 4 boys. We've added obviously a few boys, but Lewis Milne, Survey, Liam Hogan, etc. But Survey's injured, so we felt that some of the players had developed quite well over the course of last year, and they had more to give. We still believe that. There are certain players that are maybe low in confidence, and they are, maybe need a couple of older, more experienced players to help them, for sure. But there's a talented bunch. They're a very, very talented bunch, but there's a bit of naivety within the squad, and we were hoping that after a year's experience, some of that naivety in our play and some of the things that we're seeing on the pitch wouldn't be happening. So, look, I'm sure the manager and the staff are tearing their hair out at times with the repetition of what they're trying to tell the boys. The start's not been good enough. The players know it, the manager knows it, I know it, and as a group, we're hurting, and we're looking to put that right. The next game, we always keep saying the next game, then they look too far ahead. We're looking to add to the squad to try and help. We're obviously very low in the striking department, but the group has to step up. The players know that the results aren't good enough, but the performances, look, I'm not going to stand here and try and paint a rosy picture, oh, we're good, but if you only look at it from a perspective of performance and hard work and doing your job on the pitch, some of the play's been good, but we've tended to kind of switch off in huge moments in games, make individual mistakes, which happens, but we're getting punished. We rub the green when they go amiss sometimes, but at the same time, losing games isn't acceptable. So we need to kind of sharpen up on that.
Obviously, you've sort of brushed on it already, and there's been some rumblings on the terrace about changes higher up in the club. Without going into too much detail, is there any positivity coming out of this soon, do you think? Or
Yeah, no,
soon?
there's at the minute there's a lot of negativity because of what the results. If you only focus on results, that's a negative. That's a negative situation. But I do think that the players are good enough to start stringing wins together. We need a wee break. We need to help the manager and the group by supporting them through trying to get a couple of players in. In terms of the kind of ownership and the board and all these things, yeah, there's been a lot going on, even tail end of last season, so it's not like it's something came out of the blue the last 2 weeks. A lot of discussions, a lot of meetings, a lot of project planning and stuff. And yeah, I'm excited, and the fans should be excited. However, it's not done, and there is things going on. I'm hopeful that the club will make an announcement in the not too distant future. I don't want to put a timeline on it because I don't want to do that. But there is, fans aren't silly. They'll see people at games. There'll be people talking, and there's rumours in football. I can see this being a hugely positive thing for the club. Not just short term, but the long term, the real long term. And then I'm sure if we get the people in and things happen, that they will have their plans able to reach out to fans and let them know.
And obviously, you mentioned it's not out of the blue, but so how much of an impact does that have on yourself and the gaffer's job with this sort of hanging over you over the summer at an important time?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, that is difficult, and it's not that it's a burden. It's actually there's a bit of that's actually a positive thing here. The club is needing investment, and the club need to go in a different direction. The people that have been holding the fort of this club deserve a huge amount of credit, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't even have a game to go and watch. But and they'll all say this, they've done their part and they've done their time, and maybe it's now time for a new era, and the new era is exciting. In terms of me personally and the manager and stuff, it's difficult because budget's the same. We don't have new financial investment. The budget's the same, so hence why we've kept a lot of the same players. But even if it goes up or it stays the same in the future, we still need to win games of football. We still need to kind of push on as a club. But there's certain things that you do with recruitment and the way that you plan and forward plan, that if the hopeful new owners or new people that come in, if they were in the building a little bit earlier, it might have made a little bit of difference to the squad planning that might have ultimately given us a better chance at the beginning of the season. It's not, and we just have to kind of deal with that. But as it stands, nothing's changing in terms of how we recruit and how we do things. We would really like to kind of try and get a really big positive result on Saturday to kind of just stem the flow of the recent defeats. Get the fans back on side, because it really is important. I think the fans have been terrific with their support. Understand everybody's frustrated though. No one more so than me, I can promise you that. But we really need something good to happen, and I feel the new ownership taking over will be a real positive step.